Just 5 games to talk about today. We got player props coming your way, best bets, and big game breakdowns. But gentlemen, I say we get right into it. TB has a game that he has eyed, and it is the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the San Francisco Giants. You have 2 angles for this one, TB, so I'm going to throw it your way. You're really feeling like there might be a mismatch as far as the guys on the mound versus the guys in the batter's box, at least one way in this game. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I actually have 2 plays on this game. It's a limited slate today. I'm going to approach this from 2 different angles. So I've had a lot of success doing the pitcher props, outs recorded, and strikeouts props. And I'm going to do 2 of those in this game today. First, I want to break down how Webb is going to attack the Diamondbacks here. Webb is somewhat of an Iron Man. He does go quite long. But when you look at outs recorded, you have to look at the pitcher's history against the team, and you also have to look at does this team make the pitcher work hard to get his outs. So looking at Webb's history against the Diamondbacks, he actually has quite a high average against them. He's allowing them to hit on the average. He's allowing them a 296 average, and that's in 125 at bats. So they hit quite high off him. OPS not so great, 724 against, but he does allow quite a high average. Not a lot of home runs, only 1 in 125 at bats. But the Diamondbacks tend to make him work. Now, last season in his last start, he pitched 6 innings against them, which is 18 outs. And if you look today, his outs recorded is over under 18.5. So that means, will he record an out in the 7th inning against the Diamondbacks today? The 7th inning, to go in the 7th inning is quite rare, but Webb is one of those guys who can do that. Webb and a handful of other pitchers. But I think the Diamondbacks are going to make him work, especially because they have a high average against him in his career. And I think the addition of Suarez to this Arizona Diamondbacks lineup is huge. Suarez is paying huge dividends for this team. They're batting top 10 in Major League Baseball as far as OPS and runs batted in so far this young season. I think they're going to make him work. I don't think he gets into the 7th inning here. So my first play here, I actually have 3 Major League Baseball plays out today for my clients, and I'm going to give 2 of them on this show. And the first one is Webb to be under 18.5 outs recorded. I think the Diamondbacks are going to make him work. I think he's going to get into about 90 pitches or so after 6 innings and come out after 6.
Outs recorded, looking towards the under in that one. That's Tokyo. Brandon loves these player props. You can check out his premium plays over at WagerTalk.com, although he just gave you one right there. Trig, I'll get this Landers pick up in a little bit, but first we want to hear, how about yesterday's mismatch? Houck was dealing in that Boston and Cleveland side. So the Boston bullpen is going to be nice and well rested today because they weren't really called upon thanks to what Houck was doing up there on the mound. How are you looking to break this one down, Trig?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the Red Sox here. I don't know if this will make my client card, and mostly because I cashed with the Red Sox yesterday. I feel like maybe I kind of got my money with them, and I don't know if I want to come back with it. But I think yesterday's chain of events, if you will, Dan, creates another favorable spot for the Red Sox here. So going into yesterday, they really needed a good outing out of Houck, right? Like they had a very tired bullpen. There was multiple guys that weren't even available in their bullpen yesterday, and Houck comes out and delivers a complete game shutout, as good of a best game that anyone's pitched in a Red Sox jersey all season. Nice 2-0 win for the Red Sox, and I think that there might be like a little bit of a snowball effect into this game from a momentum standpoint, because the Red Sox are going to go with a bullpen game here. And something that I think is understated when it comes to bullpen games, and I actually got on the wrong side of this last week. A bad bullpen doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate into a bad bullpen game. And I oppose the Rays. I oppose the Rays, who were in a bullpen game last week. They had the worst bullpen in the league coming into the game in about 6th inning, 7th inning or so. I said, yep, I played into the get right spot for the Rays pen. And sure enough, they were able, the Rays held on and beat me in that game. I kind of feel like something similar might happen here with the Red Sox. This is a team, there's only one team in the league that's blown more leads than the Red Sox this year. The Red Sox have 6 blown leads for losses this season. It's the second highest total in the majors. Like I said, their bullpen was really struggling. Yesterday, they were in desperate need of some rest, and Houck gave it to them. So now it's the bullpen. I feel like it's the bullpen's chance to return that favor. It should give them a little bit of confidence, right? Like knowing that, okay, Houck got it done. We got a win yesterday. Now we need to piece together a win today. Brennan Bernardino is going to be the opener. He's actually been really solid. Like if you look at last year, across 50 innings, he was great for the Red Sox. This year in 5 innings so far, 8 strikeouts, 1 run on 2 hits. So I think he maybe sets the tone here. And then you go back to, the Red Sox long relievers and whatnot, all guys that didn't have to pitch yesterday. On the other side, the Guardians, man, are really in, some dire straits when it comes to pitching. Their pitchers have dropped like flies. The notable one is Bieber, but they lost Eli Morgan the other day. He had a really good start to this series. He was effective in the first 2 games. For a little KBO reference, we had 2 KBO call-ups pitch for the Guardians yesterday. Ben Lively, former Samsung Lion, got the start. Wes Parsons came in relief. But the fact that Wes Parsons is on your big league club at this point kind of shows you, how thin the pitching is. I mean, like, let's be honest, he's really kind of a AAA arm at this point. And he's been called up. They've had to go to Xavion Curry. They just sent Xavion Curry back down. Like, it's really been, tough for the Guardians. And then to lose Morgan is just another pitcher that goes down. And then starting this game is Carrasco. I'm really not sure where I stand on him yet, Dan. Like 2021, he's got an ERA over 6. 2022, he has a great season. Looks like the Carrasco that we kind of have come to, think of when we say the name Carlos Carrasco. And then last year, he's got an ERA close to 7 in 90 innings pitched. This year, the whip is 1.66. There's underlying stuff here that suggests that maybe he's still more like the last year Carrasco than the 2022 Carrasco. So, I still think the Guardians are due for some regression in the win-loss column. And then the Red Sox, maybe do some positive regression. I just said they've blown 6 leads, so maybe this is where the bullpen comes together. And they're always better at Fenway. So I'll go Red Sox here. Minus 110 seems like a fair price, especially after they got a much-needed sort of confidence-building win yesterday.
Yeah, and you actually might be getting a nicer price on this one. As he said, it's around minus 110. There are some prices as low as minus 105 out there, as we've seen some money for the dog. And you feel like maybe that money coming for the dog is just anecdotally some people betting, oh, it's a bullpen game. You know what I mean? And Trig just kind of broke it down. That doesn't always mean, hey, it's overtime and, hey, it's a fade spot here. So let's go back to the game you were talking about earlier. You talked about the potential for pitchers to really shine in this one. Back to this D-backs and San Francisco game, because your best bet's in that one. Also, let people know what you have up over at WagerTalk.
Speaking of cool uniforms, I think the Nolan Ryan era Astros uniforms were pretty awesome with the rainbow.
Yes.
I'm really glad the Padres went back to their 1970s brown and yellow uniforms. And the old Atlanta Braves, the Dale Murphy era, those were sweet uniforms. The Braves really should go back to those. As I said earlier, I have 3 plays in Major League Baseball today. One is a feature play, and then the other 2 plays I'm giving out on this show. But you can go to my wagertalk.buzz/TB right there and grab those. I put up free plays quite often as well, and I will have some KBO or Japanese baseball tonight. Well, number 1 in 2024 in profit, even though I lost my KBO last night, still number 1 in profit at plus 130 units in 2024. So we'll keep it going. Grab whatever I got on my page there, and let's go back to the Diamondbacks and Giants. So Ryan Nelson is the other pitcher going today, and I'm looking at his strikeout prop. So if you look at his history, when I look at strikeout props, basically there's 2 numbers to look at. The pitchers, well, there's 3 actually. The pitcher's K per 9 rate, the team that he's going against, how often do they strike out in 9 innings, and then I look at the pitcher's history against that team. Ryan Nelson's history against the Giants is actually quite good. He's held them in 31 at bats. It's actually sorry, it's not good. He's getting clobbered for 323 against average, and he's allowing an OPS over 900. So if you look at the strikeouts, though, I have a special formula that I use to judge how a pitcher's doing K per nine against a particular team. He's only striking out 2.57 batters per 9 innings against the so his strikeout prop today is 4.5, and he's a little under 9 per 9 K rate, which means a little bit less than 1 strikeout per inning. So in other words, he would have to go into the 6th inning, according to my projection, to get 5 strikeouts in this game. He's only done it against the Braves so far this season. Last year against the Giants, he only got 4 Ks in his start against them. His last one. So I like the under 4.5 Ks, 4.5 strikeouts for Ryan Nelson. I think the Giants are going to get to him. I think they're going to face him early, and he's not a long pitcher anyway. He comes out before the 5th inning quite often. He's got a pretty short hook when he goes out there. Might have to do with the fact that he's a terrible pitcher. But yeah, they have a short hook on him, and he's not a good pitcher anyway. So I think under 4.5. Ryan Nelson's not going to get to 5 today, in my opinion. So that's my second play in the Diamondbacks Giants game.
Best bet there from our man Tokyo Brandon. And when he talks pitcher props, you better listen. The man was a scout after all, folks. So check him out, wt.buzz/TB. Both of these guys here and all of the cappers over at WagerTalk, you can actually get 10 days of all access for the price of 7. You can find more details on that at your favorite cappers page or at wt.buzz/deals. All right, Trig, final game here. The best bet of the show is obviously the SSG Landers jerseys. Yes, we know that. That's an automatic best bet cash. So we already cashed that one, but let me know how we're going to be betting this Miami Marlins and Chicago Cubs game. It's always pretty easy to make a case against Miami this season, but I'm wondering for you, what is it that adds up to making it potential best bet for you?
I actually think this price is short with the Cubs. Like, you're looking at minus 150 some places. And, I think you're getting a little bit of a discount on Tyone because it's his first start back, because he had a rehab, he was on a rehab assignment, got knocked around a little bit at AA. But listen, like rehab stuff is tricky to judge. And I think, if you don't watch it, like you can't really, like I didn't watch his AA start. I know he got knocked around, but I did watch him pitch for Iowa last week, and I thought he looked pretty good. Like, and that's the thing. Like, you can't really look at the numbers and judge a rehab outing because in a lot of cases, these guys are not out there worried about giving up hits, giving up runs. It's more about, finding the feel of the pitches, making sure that, they're hitting their spots and that trying to work through their different pitches. So I was pretty impressed with the outing for Iowa. He pitched against St. Paul. 46 of his 68 pitches were strikes. Went 3.2 innings, so 3 2/3. Gave up 3 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, which is all fine and good. But like the stuff was good. Like I was impressed at what I saw, and I could see that translating to a decent outing here. Now, I'm not gonna. I know a lot of people will say things like, "Oh, the Marlins could be, could lose to a AAA team or something." Like, I tend to not subscribe to that, but the Marlins lineup right now is probably the closest there is in the National League or maybe in baseball to a AAA lineup in terms of like slugging percentage, way down, worst in the NL. Batting average, like collectively as a team, is like close to 200. So you're talking about like. Coming back, and getting to face a favorable lineup. Tyone's certainly getting that here. The other thing I like about the matchup for the Cubs is Hayden Wenesensky saved their bullpen yesterday, so he was recently called up from Iowa as well. He came in and piggybacked for 4 innings, and now you've basically got all of the Cubs relievers. So even if Tyone's on a pitch count here, even if he's going 75 pitches at the most. You should still get a good stack of Cubs relievers, which they have a good amount of strong relievers on that team. The other things like I think I'm going to downplay here. say a Suzuki hurt, it's like that doesn't matter in this organization. I've talked about it since the beginning of the season. There's so much depth in the organization that Suzuki goes down, no problem. Alexander Canario comes up. He was raking at AAA, 23 years old, stud. Slide him right in. And there's like 4 or 5 other guys like that down at Iowa for the Cubs where, I think that's getting baked into the line a little bit when it shouldn't be, because I don't think the Cubs lose a single beat, with Suzuki on the IL. So again, it comes back to me of where I have the Cubs, how good I think this team is, and the fact that I think the price is a little short. On the other side, you get AJ Puck. This has been a total failed experiment trying to move him to the starting rotation. He's been a great reliever throughout his career. They tried to make him a starter. In 3 starts, he's been a disaster. 24.1% walk rate is the highest in the majors. I'm not quite, when they scratched him from his start on Monday, I thought they were going to move him back to the bullpen. It was actually because he was sick. So he's now, got pushed back a couple days with illness. I don't think that did him any favors, because instead of getting to pitch against the Giants, now he's got to go pitch at Wrigley against a much better offensive Cubs team. It's just the Marlins are really just a mess right now. And the Cubs, I still think that this is one of the best teams in the National League. I'm going to probably continue to lean into that opinion, because I really think the Cubs upside makes them one of the top teams in the NL. And the fact that a Suzuki can go down, Canario comes in, you call up Wenisensky from AAA, he gives you 4 shutout innings, saves the bullpen. That's all stuff that winning baseball teams do. And I think you're getting a discount on the Cubs. So best bet for the show today, Cubs minus 150. I'll be surprised if they lose this game.
Cubs money line from a man, Adam Trigger, Tokyo Brandon, with a nice pitcher prop going under the 4.5 Ks for Nelson on the D-back side. Guys, always a pleasure joining with you here. That's Tokyo Brandon, Adam Trigger. Check them out at WagerTalk.com. You can get 10 days of all access for the price of 7. And Tokyo Brandon, just the number 1 in units gained this year, over 135 units already. So check him out, WT.buzz/TB. Trig, you can find him, WT.buzz/AT. And that's going to do it for a little day game edition. On your way out, folks, if you didn't already, hit that like button. Give us a thumbs up. These guys giving you winners on a daily basis. And even me, yesterday, I gave you that Julio Rodriguez prop, total bases over. Even the host cashes in every now and then. What do they say about blind squirrels finding a nuts? That might be what I did yesterday. But we got a winner, boys, and hopefully you get some as well. Hop below in the comments and let us know, what do you think are some of the best uniforms in sports, as we kind of got on a little bit of a diatribe there. And also, while you're down there, make sure you let us know what your best bets are tonight. For Adam Trigger, for Tokyo Brandon, I'm Dan Alexander. We'll see you next time. If you want some more info on the sports that you love and be able to bet them all day long, you don't have to go far. Click the video on your screen right this second and keep on getting that actionable info you know and love. We'll see you next time. Best of luck, everyone.